What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. We got a lot to talk about this week, and we can't wait to share it with you all. And we're feeling more rested after our break, so let's get right into it. What's going on, guys? So while we were over our break this week, Connor and I, while we're both on Christmas break, we decided to go to NFL games in our area. So this episode's going to be a little more biased just because we're talking about our experiences at NFL games rather than, what we normally do. So we're doing something different. So Connor, how was going to see the Pats play this week?
It was a slaughter. It was just a total slaughter. It's almost like he kind of wanted to. I call Trevor Lawrence Sunshine. And I call him Sunshine because he's like the kid from Remember the Titans. I actually played football with a guy back in high school who we called Sunshine. My coach called Sunshine because I think he looks like him. But, I almost wanted to see Sunshine get some points up on the board. It was sad. All right, let's just say it was a great game experience. The first half flew by, right? I think it was the Pats' first drive, they got a touchdown. First drive of the game, they got a touchdown. They just racked up the points, just absolutely destroyed, took apart. There was no, the Pats got a decent amount of first downs. They got a decent amount of first downs. It's my dog, everybody, by the way. Let's get down now, buddy. Got a decent amount of first downs. And, I don't have the exact numbers because I was there. I saw it all go down. The fact that they put Brian Hoyer in the game, right? They put Brian Hoyer in the game. They put Brian Hoyer in the game. It was Brian Hoyer, so you can only expect so much from him. But gives a decent handoff. They get a touchdown. They give the fact that this is just happening. The fact that Brian Hoyer, right, was put in the game because of how far the Pats have exceeded. The Pats defense was on fire. The Pats offense was on fire. I mean, it was just good football. It was good football. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they got nothing. And that is and it's kind of sad. It's sad to watch. Trevor Lawrence who has so much talent, right? Has so much talent. And he's it's wasted in Jacksonville. Do better trading. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was watching these guys warm up, so I was like, "What the hell is that?" I was just like, I'm watching them throw, and Trevor Lawrence had some good plays. Trevor Lawrence had some very good plays, and he's a talent. He made some certain. He's a talented man. Trevor Lawrence is a talented man, and it's his talents are going to waste.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's a rookie quarterback, so I mean, you can't expect too much from him. But he also is the first overall pick, right?
Yeah, and he doesn't have any. He doesn't have any weapons. That's the problem.
Well, I think he does. I think he has building blocks around. I mean, we've talked about the Jags before, but yeah. I mean, think about it. You're a rookie quarterback. You come into your head coach gets fired halfway through the year, right? I mean, You're already in a pretty questionable, culture, locker room environment, right? So, I mean, you can't blame him too much, Connor. I mean, I think that
I'm not blaming Trevor Lawrence at all. Trevor Lawrence, as I said, made some good plays.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're right. I mean, I absolutely agree that Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent. He is a generational talent. Mm-hmm. When he has the guys around him, when he's put in a good system, in a good situation, right? There's only so much the quarterback can do, right? And I mean, this offseason, the Jags are probably going to clean house, probably, figure out, all right, who's going to stay, who's going to go, get a new quarterback, right? Or not a new quarterback, excuse me, a coach. But, um, you know, you see these glimpses of like good play and potential from quarterbacks. And I mean, Trevor Lawrence has definitely showed, I think, some promise. At least,
Yeah.
enough to say, I mean, I don't know. His numbers this year compared to like, I don't know, let's compare him to like Davis Mills. Davis Mills, the Texans rookie quarterback who they drafted in the 5th round, right?
Yeah.
I think Davis Mills looks better. He just has better numbers. And I
Yeah.
mean, better than the number 1 overall pick. Number 1 overall pick. Like, I mean, that's something to kind of think about. But I think if you're Jacksonville next year and you're just going to hit the reset button and just say, look, whatever happened last season, we don't care about it. Right. And like Trevor gets, with his good offensive coordinator, he gets with like guys that are just like, all right, we're going to hold your hand for a little bit, but, we're going to put you in the situation to succeed because that's what, a coach should do. But I mean, it's the Patriots. It's Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's he's not there to just say like, okay, hey, how you doing? You're going to go through the steamroller, buddy. So,
And think about, and how it has said this, Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick has worked up a system. He
yeah.
has worked up a system. He has built a system. He comes from that old coaching style of building a system that works for you, right? Like that's like, and like and your team, your types of quarterbacks, this and that. And so it's important to recognize, like, right, I saw Belichick smiling yesterday when he's sitting on the sidelines of Mac Jones. He was making Mac cheese. He was making Mac cheese. Mac was cheesing right there because of Bill Belichick, right? Like he was smiling, laughing, like a hearty old laugh, like he was a drunken sailor. Like it was just like it was just funny to watch. And I think that the Pats have a good culture again. They're a good football team. Are they Super Bowl contenders? I'm not exactly. I wouldn't put them that far, but they're a good football team. They
Yeah.
got talent, they got loads of it, and they're in a division that's competitive, right? Like they're in a division, right, where they have the Buffalo Bills, another competitive, good football team. Then you got the second tier of you have the Miami Dolphins. Miami, Miami sucks, but then they don't suck, right? And then you have the Jets. Now nobody like the Jets have a couple good seasons and they going back down and they tank for another 10 years. And they have a couple good seasons and they tank. You know what I mean? They're still living off the one Super Bowl that was won by a guy who's on Social Security and AARP now. But like it's just like it's I mean, God bless Joe Namath. I love the guy, but it's just like that's the Jets for you. And I mean, the last time they're of any notoriety is when Mark Sanchez had the butt fumble, but it's in the sense like, and Joe Namath was advertising pantyhose, so it's just like it's it's in the sense where that division is competitive because the Jets sneak in there for like one game and like destroy a good team somehow. So like for somehow they were like beating the Buccaneers until Tom Brady probably sat there on the bench, bent over, looked up, had that death stare in his eyes, and went out and destroyed the guys. But
Yeah.
you're in a division that is competitive, no matter how bad the other teams suck.
Yeah. Yeah. But it sounds like it was a good game, though. Yeah. Right. I mean,
Oh, it was great. I mean, like we had a great time.
yeah. Yeah.
Me and our yeah, me and our buddy Brendan, we had a great time. We had an excellent time. Getting it was cold, it was rainy. It wasn't like bad at first. It was actually kind of warm for a New England day. It's kind of like funny because New England runs on like a weird schedule for winter times. It gets wicked cold for a couple years and then it gets warm and rainy. And like the other day was a warm and rainy day until like you're up on the third level of Gillette Stadium and you're starting to get real cold. So it's
Yeah.
just like, but it was a good game. There was a lot of missed, but it was we left in the middle of the fourth quarter because after Brian Hoyer handed off that touchdown run, and it's just like I saw everything. I just saw Brian Hoyer steal a game. So it's just like it's in the sense where it was totally it was a good experience and I had fun up at Gillette. But you though, you brother, oh my gosh. Now, so a little background, everybody. I am from New England, you could tell, right? I enjoy watching the New England Patriots, right? But I was not raised a Patriots fan. I would not consider myself a number one Pats fan because my dear father raised me a Dallas Cowboys fan. That makes no sense because he's from upstate New York. But anyways, I am very much a fan of the wonderful Dallas Cowboys. If you can kind of catch my drift, I like teams that are a little bit more on the patriotic side. But I very much am under the impression that Andrew had an excellent time at the Cardinals Cowboys game because those silly old birds beat the Dallas Cowboys, and it just goes to tell me about this one. Tell me about this one.
Well, you see, Connor, the Cardinals and Cowboys game, going into the game, my expectations were kind of low. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't have faith in, my team, the Cardinals, but the Cardinals were coming off a pretty bad stretch of games. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I went in there thinking, oh my gosh. I mean, not that I don't have faith in my own team. Again, I just want to reiterate that. But I was just kind of thinking, like, it's the Cowboys. The Cowboys are coming off absolutely pouncing the Redskins. I mean, seriously, like, they're riding pretty high right now, right?
Cowboys are a good football team.
Yeah. And I kind of thought Cardinals are going to lose and, we're going to have to figure something out, right? Well, as the game went, the Cardinals won, but, it was kind of weird because I would, like you talked about, Connor, watching the warm-ups. I was watching both teams warm up, right? And I was like, man, like Murray looks like he's just on point. Like,
yeah,
he just looks like he's on point. He's not really rowdy. He's kind of quiet, he's not trying to like pump guys up, And I mean, you just look at Dak Prescott, and Dak Prescott's yelling in people's faces, like let's go,
Yeah, let's go. And I'm like, all right, Dak.
Yeah. So I think it was like the first quarter of the game, right? Both teams are driving, and the Cardinals' very first play, like the very first play, is a 26-yard run by this practice squad receiver who had been, brought up to the active roster due to like COVID issues and injuries, right? Greg Dortch, number 83, right? Gets a jet sweep to the right, takes it 26 yards. And if he had beat Leighton Vander Esch on the outside, he would have been gone. Like, it was a great play. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, now this, obviously, one play doesn't define the entire game, but it can kind of tell you,
it sets the tone.
It sets the tone. And the Cardinals, much of the game, they played really fast. Like, they'd hit, there were some plays where I was like, why on earth did you just call that play? Like, it was just a terrible play call offensively, right? But it was still a very high, upbeat game by the Cardinals offense. I mean, they normally use their running back a lot. They used Chase Edmonds, number 2. They used him out of the backfield a lot.
James Conner was out, right?
Yeah, James Conner was out another game, and they hit Chase Edmonds for a few, pickups. They ran the ball with him. They threw it deep a few times to Christian Kirk, number 13. Yeah. They threw it deep to him a few times. He missed a few like crucial catches, right? Because Murray just put it just too much out of his reach, right? Just a little bit. But it was still it was a really cool game to watch the Cardinals kind of, not beat themselves. I mean, there's a play, it was all over social media. It's like 4th and 8, 4th and 8, 4th and 5. And special teams, one of their upbacks gets the ball, fakes a punt, throws it to their backup running back, Jonathan Ward. And he catches it on the helmet, like the David Tyree catch in the Super Bowl. on the
Yeah.
guy's helmet and gets the first down for the Cardinals on a fake
I
punt.
did think I saw that. I think I saw in NFL memes. It was like, oh yeah, let's make 2022 as normal as possible. And it was like all throughout the NFL's like all the crazy crap that happened from this past week, and it was so funny to watch because like I saw that catch. I'm like, no way that was going. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
but like watching it in person was crazy because like you see the catch happen and everyone's like, he caught it on his helmet, he goes down, the officials are like, that's a catch, right? But the guys are like, him and the corner defensive back or whoever was out there were like struggling with the ball. So like they were like wrestling for it. So I kind of thought I was like, this might be an interception. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's fourth down anyway. But, he gets up and he goes over to the sideline. He's like, yeah, I just caught that thing. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like, we just converted, a fourth down because I mean, in weeks past, the Cardinals have been trying to convert fourth downs and they just haven't been getting them.
Yeah,
Like
no.
there was a stat that I saw. It was just like, that was their like first fourth down conversion in like 3 weeks or something like that. It was nuts, right?
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, a few other like observations from the game. I mean, the Cowboys, Dak just looked off the mark. Dak looked really off the mark. I mean, he was missing throws. I mean, there were, some throws he missed here and there, but he threw it like behind the receiver, too much out in front of the receiver, over the head of the receiver. Like, and then Zeke, I mean, Zeke couldn't, I mean, the Cardinals played good run defense, but Zeke missed some catches. I mean, like there was one play, I think it was towards the end of the game. It literally went right through Zeke's hands. All he had to do was catch it and run for like maybe a yard for the first down, right? But he literally just goes right through his hands and hits him right in the face. But it's just kind of like that play kind of just like said a lot about the game. I mean, the Cowboys defense didn't really show up. There were, they made some good
No.
plays, right? But it didn't. The Cowboys just didn't look. Trayvon Diggs. Holy cow, he got burned. Like, I mean, seriously, he got burned a few times. You're sitting there and you're like, that's going to be the defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Like what? Like, you know what I mean? The Cowboys just didn't look like they had a lot of fire. And I'm not saying, I mean, the Cardinals, it felt like on their offense had a lot of fire. At times, their defense, it was just kind of like, what are they doing?
Here's the problem with the Cowboys, right? The problem with the Dallas Cowboys is this is that they have the inability sometimes to get it together. They have
Yeah.
the they Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. If you ask me, do I think he's 40 million good? No, I think that was a little greedy of him to request. Do I think he's a franchise quarterback? Yes. But he needs to keep on proving himself. He doesn't prove himself. Recently we've been seeing in the Super Bowl, we haven't had any real dynasties since the Pats. You saw Kansas City in the Super Bowl twice, beating out San Francisco and then losing to Tom Brady and Tampa Bay. But the problem here is that you're not seeing a a continuous. It's just kind of random who's going on that year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like it's a random thing as to what's going on. It's not like it's not a it's there's no consistency, you know? There's no consistency with it. And that's the problem, especially you see in the NFC. So much, even in the AFC, but more. I notice it more in the NFC. You see so much talent. You see so much talent, and you want to see more than just talent. You want to see consistency and ability to do what you have to do. And we've been seeing this from Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. And you see this from Kyler Murray, and you see this from Dak Prescott, and you see this from all these guys. But it's just like it has to be. There has to be more. There has to be more. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
that's the
I
big
mean,
problem.
yeah, yeah. And I agree, you know, but I mean, all in all, though, watching the Cardinals and Cowboys game, right? It was good because I think we're going to be seeing the Cowboys play the Cardinals again in the playoffs.
Yes.
I think that's probably how it will all shake out to be, which will be really cool. I mean, especially if it's played here in Dallas, you know.
Yes.
But if the Cowboys play the way they did on Sunday, I'm sorry, but I cannot see them going any further than the first round of the playoffs. I mean, Dak has just got to be on target. He's got to be able to, move around. The Cowboys have got to establish a run game, right? Because when a team takes away the Cowboys' run game, Dak Prescott just cannot, he just doesn't look, like the all-star quarterback that he normally
And
some
he
of the
cuts
time has
himself
been.
out to be.
He's just struggling to throw the ball. And,
Yeah.
if he cannot overcome that and make the adjustments he needs to, I'm sorry. I just can't see them going further than the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Same can kind of be said about the Cardinals. If the
No,
Cardinals can't,
I agree. I totally agree.
yeah,
And that's the problem. It needs to go more than it there needs to be consistency among these teams in the NFC. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
just like, okay, Tampa Bay has just been destroyed the last couple months. Yeah, really, I mean, you almost kind of feel bad for them, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
just like you feel like with the rest of the NFC, what are you doing? You know, the Rams have a good guys on their team. You know what I mean? The NFC, and this is us getting into our playoff predictions now, right? Like you're gonna see the NFC is gonna be a slaughter. It's gonna be dog eat dog, like right? Like you're gonna see like it's gonna be Beau right here eating the dog next door. Like that's how it's gonna be. That's how it's supposed to be. And so it's gonna be dog eat dog. It's gonna be a total slaughter. I don't think you're gonna see the Tampa Bay get past round two of the playoffs with everybody out losing the receiver who shall remain nameless and and initialists and also because we don't like showboating receivers. I was a lineman back in high school. I just don't like them. Um, and it's just uh, it's in a sense I can't see. I don't know who's going to be a Super Bowl contender at this point. You know what I mean? I'd like to say the Cowboys. You know, the fact that the Eagles are in the playoffs. The Eagles. Gosh, a team I just really can't stand, whether I look at it from a Pats standpoint or a Cowboy standpoint. This is a team that just makes me want to vomit day in and day out, and the fans and the everything. It's nothing against you. You don't burn down the city when you win the Super Bowl, okay? You just don't do that. Anyways, I do not care about getting hate right now. I can't stand the Eagles. I can't stand. Sorry. Uh, anyways, um, there were some bad calls made during that Super Bowl too. Anyways, against the Pats. Getting back to it, I just can't see anybody actually. I don't know who's going to the Super Bowl for the NFC. There's very few. There's a couple teams in the AFC I see that because again the AFC you have this character like you have good football teams but football teams that have lost. You have the Pats, you have the Bills, and you have the Colts. Those are like the teams I think are going to really battle out for it, right?
yeah,
But in the NFC, you have more teams and then you have I'm sorry, you have the Chiefs as well.
yeah,
But it's just like you have all of these teams. You have so many teams that are going to contend. Eagles are getting knocked out first round. There's a possibility the Cowboys will get knocked out first round. Same with the Cardinals. I mean, the playoffs are so unpredictable this year, so unpredictable, and I just can't say that I can't say who's gonna be a Super Bowl contender because you just have so many good football teams out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree, Connor. Like it's a very murky kind of like, playoff picture, right? I mean, especially with it coming down to like the last few weeks of some teams getting in or not getting in, like it's very, very different. And I think that um like we could see a lot of different things happen. I mean, I know you could say that about any year, right? You could say
Yeah,
that like, but I mean, we know for a fact that I mean Tampa Bay, led by Tom Brady, it's Tom Brady, guys. He's the GOAT.
yeah,
And
literally.
you can't count out the Bucks in the NFC, right? You cannot count them out, right? Packers also. Packers are riding high right now. Um, but I mean, after those two teams, I mean, everyone else. I mean, the Cardinals, they haven't been to the playoffs since 2015. The Cowboys, they haven't been to the playoffs in like I think a few years. Whenever the last time the Cowboys played the Seahawks, that was a few years ago. But I mean, then you have all the other wild card teams, right? You have the Eagles, you got the 49ers potentially, you got the Saints potentially. Um, you have a lot of these other teams. Same thing can be said about the AFC, right? Like no one knows there's so many AFC potential wild cards that could be getting in, right? I mean, you got the Titans, the
Yeah,
Patriots, the
Bills,
Chiefs, the Bills. I mean,
Colts.
the Colts potentially, Chargers. I mean, there's so many different teams, right? But I think that, this is my bold take this year. My bold take. I'll give my biased one first just because I'm a Cardinals fan.
Yeah,
If the Cardinals can get it together, right? If they can get it together, I could see them going to the NFC Championship. I could see them putting on a run, getting to the NFC Championship game.
I could
Right.
see them doing that too.
I don't know about the Super Bowl just because they're a young team. Just because they're a young team. I don't know. I don't know. But I could see them potentially getting to the NFC Championship game. They're going to have better play calling. They're going to have a lot of better things they need to do, right? Kyler needs to be a little more of a leader, but I could see
Yeah,
them doing that, right? Um, as far as, just from a non-biased perspective, right? I could see the Bucks again. I could see a Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl again. I could 100% see that. I
yeah,
could see that. That will be that I could see the same thing happening as when the Chiefs and the Bucks played last year. I could see a Chiefs and Bills rematch AFC, Bill or Packers and Buccaneers NFC Championship games, and I could see that entirely playing out the same because I just haven't seen anything else that leads me to believe. I could see the Chiefs and Titans in the AFC, right? But I could definitely see that as being like the last four teams remaining, and I could see a Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl again. That's realistic.
see,
But
I don't see a cheat. I could see that too. At the same time, I don't with the Bucks hurting like they are, you know.
yeah,
And sorry if you hear this, the dog playing with his toy. And he next time I'm gonna put him downstairs. The good boy that he is, even though he's a pain in my butt. Anyways, I my big I think my big problem is that I'm seeing a I think what I really am seeing is that with the how seeing Tampa Bay hurting, you know, you're gonna have a problem with the playoff look. You know what I mean?
yeah,
There's gonna be a problem with the playoffs, and like right like, and then you go back to the NFC, like the Cowboys. Michael Gallup's out with a left torn ACL, and that's just it's just such a drag, you know. It's just
yeah,
such a drag, and as I said, like it's really murky. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Chiefs Bucks Super Bowl again. I think that'd be kind of cool to watch. And then Tom Brady say sayonara. I want him to go out on a good note after watching him for literally our entire lives. But I think that um um again, as I said, it's so murky. It's
Yeah.
so murky. You can't tell. You can't tell. And that's the problem that we're having.
Yeah, absolutely. But, it'll be a little more clear, I think, after this week. And, it'll definitely be interesting. I mean, it'll definitely be interesting. So, we're going to
Most
hope
definitely.
we're going to see what happens this last week. And, we'll comment on the future playoffs. But anyways.
Yes, we will. And
Anyways.
I think Beau's commentary has been a pleasure for us both this fine day. As he's eaten my boot, he's bitten my hand more times than I could say. The Cowboys got points yesterday, but the Jags got points yesterday. But anyways, that on Sunday. But hey, what are we gonna do, right?
What are we gonna do? But anyways, guys, thank you for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll catch you all in the next episode. Thank you, guys. Have a good week.
God bless. God bless.